The storm rolled across the Texas plains like a wounded beast, roaring and breaking the night apart. Lightning struck the lone oak by the barn, and through the rain-soaked window of the ranch house, a man stood watching, tall, rugged, eyes deep with a kind of sorrow that never really healed. His name was Eli Turner, and this ranch was all he had left of a life once full of laughter, love, and promise. And tonight, he wasn't alone anymore. Because in the flickering light of the old lantern, stood Clara Hale, a mail-order bride who had arrived 3 days ago, and who, for reasons he didn't yet understand, looked like she carried the weight of 10 lifetimes on her fragile shoulders. Her hands trembled as she poured water into a tin cup, her eyes darting around as though she didn't belong in this world of dust and leather and long silences. The hook. I don't know how to be a wife, she whispered that night, her voice trembling, her eyes glistening under the oil lamp's soft glow. Eli froze, his heart, already half broken, seemed to stop altogether. He didn't know it then, but those words would change everything, not just for her, but for him, and for the ranch that had long since forgotten what warmth felt like. Chapter 1. The Strangers Under One Roof. When Clara first stepped off the stagecoach, she was nothing like Eli expected. The agency had promised a strong, reliable woman to help rebuild a rancher's life. Instead, she was small, delicate, and had a kind of haunted grace. Her eyes, gray as storm clouds, seemed to carry secrets. Eli didn't ask questions. He just nodded, took her bag, and led her up the hill to the house. "Storm's coming," he said quietly. "Yes," she murmured, clutching her shawl tighter. "I think it already has." That night, as thunder shook the windows, she sat silently by the fire. Eli could see her staring at the flames like she was trying to remember something, or forget it. He offered her food. She thanked him politely but barely touched it. They slept in separate rooms, of course. He'd told her, "We'll take it slow. No rush." She had nodded, almost with relief. Chapter 2. Ghosts of the Past. Days turned into weeks, and Clara tried her best to adjust. She learned how to feed the chickens, how to mend fences, how to bake bread that didn't burn. Eli worked from dawn till dusk, fixing, hauling, tending. But every time he caught her smiling, it faded too quickly. And at night, she woke screaming. One evening, after a particularly harsh nightmare, Eli found her sitting on the porch, clutching her knees. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "For what?" he asked. "For not being who you wanted me to be." Eli sighed, sitting beside her. "You think I wanted a perfect wife. I just wanted someone who didn't give up on life." Tears welled in her eyes. "I'm trying," she whispered. "But every time I try, I hear him." She stopped, hand over her mouth. Eli didn't push. He simply said, "You don't have to tell me. Not yet." But he saw it, the bruises that weren't just on her skin. Chapter 3. The Secret. Weeks later, while tending the horses, a stranger rode up the ranch road. A bounty hunter. He asked questions about a woman named Clara Hale, accused of fleeing from an abusive husband who had filed for her arrest for theft and desertion. Eli's jaw tightened. "You've got the wrong woman." But he knew he didn't. That night, Clara broke down. She told him everything: the drunken husband, the nights of fear, the escape in the dead of night, the money she took just to survive the road to Texas. "I didn't mean to deceive you," she sobbed. "I just wanted a place where I could breathe again." Eli looked at her for a long time, then said quietly, "Clara, sometimes running away isn't weakness. It's the first brave thing a broken heart ever does." Chapter 4. Building Something Real. After that night, something shifted. Clara began to truly live. She rode horses again, laughing when she almost fell. She planted wildflowers by the fence and started humming while she worked. Eli noticed, the light returning to her eyes, the way she began to look at him differently. He never rushed her, never demanded her affection, but slowly, she began to give it. The ranch flourished, not because of money, but because of care. They painted the porch, rebuilt the barn, and at night, they talked. Really talked. And one evening, under the lavender sky, she said it again, but this time with a trembling smile. "I still don't know how to be a wife." Eli took her hands and whispered back, "Then we'll learn together." Chapter 5. The Storm Returns. Just when life began to settle, the past came back. Her husband, the man she'd fled from, arrived with the sheriff, papers in hand, voice full of poison. "She's mine," he barked. She's a thief and a liar. Clara froze. Eli stepped forward, his hand resting near his revolver, but not on it. She's not your anything, he said calmly. She's free here. The sheriff hesitated. He'd heard the stories about Clara's husband, his violence, his cruelty. The law wasn't blind, just slow. Clara stepped forward, voice steady for the first time. I'm not running anymore, she said. You can take whatever money I took. But you'll never own me again. The man lunged at her, and in a heartbeat, Eli moved. The gun went off. When the smoke cleared, the sheriff had drawn his weapon. The husband was disarmed, wounded but alive. Clara trembled, but Eli's arms were there to hold her. Chapter 6. Redemption. Months later, after the trial, peace returned to the ranch. The man was gone. The fear was gone. And Clara, she was finally free. She stood at the edge of the corral one morning, watching the sunrise over the golden fields. Eli came up behind her, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. You know, she said softly, I think I finally understand what being a wife means. Eli smiled. Yeah, what's that? It's not about knowing how to do everything right, it's about staying when life goes wrong. Eli nodded. And loving when you don't know if you can. Epilogue. Years later, people still spoke of the Turner Ranch, how it became a place of healing, where broken souls found hope again. And sometimes, when the wind whispered through the tall grass, they swore they could still hear her voice, soft and certain this time. I didn't know how to be a wife. But I learned how to love. Moral message. No one is born knowing how to love perfectly, but love, real love, is learned in the moments of imperfection, forgiveness, and courage.